Welcome back to The Explainer, everyone. We have covered a massive amount of ground together over this series. But today we are entering the absolute outer horizon. This is part 29, the Singularity Empire. We're talking about the ultimate synthesis of power, purpose, and absolute autonomy. We are moving way beyond standard human capital and stepping directly into the fascinating post-human realm of artificial intelligence, autonomous entities, and next-level economic models.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is the literal blueprint for our structural escalation today. We're going to quickly cover Section 1, the pinnacle of human leverage, Section 2, Pillar 1 on systemic redundancy, Section 3, Pillar 2, which is legacy engineering, Section 4, Pillar 3 on sovereign posture, and we'll wrap it all up with Section 5, the final freedom.
All right, Section 1, the pinnacle of human leverage. Look, if you're exploring this phase, you've already crossed every major threshold of economic mastery. You've collapsed your fiat dependencies, you've built your digital fortresses, and now you've arrived at the absolute peak.
Just think about the old world's paradigm for a second. In that world, capital is just a goal, a metric, or maybe a tool to buy luxury. Business relies entirely on human decision-making and linear execution schedules. It's incredibly slow. But in this new transcendent architecture, capital is a direct extension of your sovereign will. Your wealth is powered by an autonomous algorithmic enterprise. We are literally talking about swarms of AI agents executing real-time arbitrage, optimizing pipelines, and deploying capital 24/7 with absolutely zero human delay.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how it fundamentally redefines your entire operational objective. We define this transcendent architecture as the transition from merely building wealth to architecting entire ecosystems of unyielding power, impact, and timeless freedom. You're no longer managing daily operations. You aren't reviewing quarterly targets. You are the sovereign architect. You set the core governance parameters, you establish the risk boundaries, and you let autonomous algorithms scale your enterprise value at exponential velocity. Moving at that kind of speed brings us directly to Section 2. Pillar 1, systemic redundancy. Let's look at the sheer mechanics of absolute independence. To insulate an empire that operates at the speed of intelligence, traditional banking rails just do not work. You need independent off-grid power infrastructure, distributed cryptographic protocols, and private non-bank vaulting networks. We're talking about sovereign hard asset trusts and totally proprietary technology stacks. These layers physically, financially, and digitally insulate you from any third-party control. Your reserves are integrated into decentralized protocols that execute real-time risk rebalancing across your entire portfolio. The ultimate goal here is zero single points of failure. Consider this. What if the centralized power grid goes down? What if a major legacy institution completely freezes your accounts, or a platform suddenly bans you? For a normal human operator, that's completely paralyzing. But for you, your capital matrix is self-healing. It automatically shifts liquidity away from systemic risk vectors before those legacy banks even register that a threat exists. It is a brilliantly unshakable, anti-fragile ecosystem.
Now let's expand our horizons even further as we enter Section 3. Pillar 2, legacy engineering.
And this brilliantly illustrates the timeline of operator mindsets, showing exactly how the elite scale time. Weak operators are stuck looking at one single year. They're just chasing short-term profits. Average operators might have a 10-year business plan, but transcendent masters, they engineer for 100+ years of centuries-long endurance. Because when artificial intelligence drives the cost of traditional intellectual labor down to essentially zero, you have to build systems designed to endure far beyond short-term human friction. To achieve that kind of endurance, liquid capital is deployed to acquire irreplaceable macro assets. Instead of fighting in crowded consumer markets, you engage in synthetic value arbitrage. You acquire strategic land holdings for cross-generational stability. You secure rare intellectual property for asymmetric cultural influence. You build foundational tech protocols for unshakable digital leverage and sovereign infrastructure that compounds legacy value. You are essentially building a self-funding monument that outlasts its creator.
This strategy includes establishing private investment funds, nonprofit foundations, and cutting-edge research hubs that basically run themselves. And let's be clear, these aren't just standard investments. They are engines that actively advance human capability, fund new technological frontiers, and shape the entire future of civilization long after your direct work is done.
Which brings us to a very critical psychological shift in Section 4, Pillar 3, Sovereign Posture.
True power is quiet, invisible, and absolute. Let that sink in for a second. In a hyper-automated, incredibly noisy global economy, we completely reject the need for public validation, social media applause, or any external approval. True influence doesn't come from public broadcasting. It comes from the invisible, silent execution of your algorithmic entities, running perfectly in the background while the rest of the world is completely distracted.
You operate exclusively behind robust privacy layers, ironclad asset protection structures, and sovereign legal frameworks. Why? So you can maintain complete, uncompromising control of your own attention and energy. You let your AI agents handle the endless friction and noise of the daily market. This setup allows you to maintain a position of quiet power, funding exactly what you choose and engaging with the world entirely on your own terms.
When you combine that autonomous execution, synthetic value creation, and a completely quiet posture, you achieve it: total economic, mental, and physical sovereignty. It is the ultimate state of human existence. You have absolute clarity of purpose, completely unburdened by the constraints of the legacy world.
And that brings us to Section 5, the final freedom. Guys, this massive 27-part masterclass journey is officially complete. We have reached the end of the roadmap, and it is time to step permanently out of financial servitude. So the crucial point is this. You have a simple 3-step ultimatum in front of you now. Number 1, deploy your architecture and set your autonomous algorithms in motion. Number 2, build your legacy by securing your computational moat. And number 3, reign sovereign forever.
The infinite blueprint is literally in your hands. You now have absolutely everything you need to orchestrate a financial empire that operates at the speed of intelligence itself. The only question left is, will you take that ultimate step, command your autonomous systems, and reign sovereign forever?